A 50 burger in Detroit. Boy, that was ugly. Your therapy session starts right now. This is your CHGO Bears Postgame Show, driven by Toyota, Let's Go Places, and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary. Use code CHGO365 at sign-up, and it never is ordinary with the Chicago Bears franchise that seems to be stuck in a losing cycle, that's for sure. Now, 12 losses in their last 13. And they were not even competitive in Detroit today. Pretty embarrassing showing.
It was. We got a ton to do. Greg's been on the balcony since the first quarter. And so I'm looking forward to hearing from Greg and obviously from Woot and from you. Briggs and Azumah will be on here on our players only. But the way we start all these shows, good or bad, and today's going to be on the bad side, is the Adam Hoge Instant Reaction presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Steven, do we have it? Can we do it? We cannot. So, Hoge, you're up without a fancy little thing.
I don't need it today.
I don't think you do. Go ahead.
We don't need any fancy, dancy animation today with this one. Bears don't deserve it. Last week ended with a kickoff that they couldn't get out of the back of the end zone, and they should have kicked it out of bounds. This one starts with a kickoff out of bounds. Not on purpose. That's how this game started today. Let's see what we had. We had false starts. We had timeouts wasted. We had drops, sacks, penalties, turnovers, turnover on downs because you couldn't execute a QB sneak twice in a row, injuries, re-injuries, previous injuries, bad fourth down decisions. The Lions end up mocking you on their celebrations, running a stumble bum celebration. Amon-Ra St. Brown's faking a hamstring injury. And then they're just straight up going for it on 4th and goal, up 24 points in the fourth quarter, just being completely disrespectful. And your response is to somehow end up with Amon-Ra St. Brown matched up against Dayo Odengbo. That all happened today. And meanwhile, before all this happened to start the season, you got a team president who can't get a shovel on the ground, handing out an extension to a GM that's now 15-38, lost 12 of the last 13 games, with 3 second-round picks and a third-rounder inactive today, and 3 targets total and 1 catch for your top 2 picks, all of which came in garbage time today. That's a summary of your Chicago Bears right now through 2 weeks.
I'll jump off on that one, which I think is the toughest question that Bears fans and Ryan Poles and the organization needs to ask themselves right now. And I'm just throw it out to the crowd, throw it out to the chat. Name me right now the impact players that are on this team.
Rome Odunze.
Rome Odunze is the only one that comes to mind today because Rome had a great day. Rome was all over the field. Rome was in the end zone. Rome's a young player. Rome is the answer. Now, after that, you tell me where you're going because no one's jumping off the page, I don't think, for anyone. And that right there, and it's a long season, and look, Dallas up next. Maybe this can look a whole lot better. Detroit was supremely motivated today. The Bears are obviously nowhere close to hopefully where they'll get wherever they're going to get this season. But when you look around at the roster right now and you're really honest, what impact players they have, it's real thin.
Yeah. This is a tough game because this is one you had to win. I thought this was a must-win game. Making a statement after last week, right? You played so well in the game at times. You fell apart in the fourth quarter. you really lost one that you should have won. Coming back this week, Ben Johnson against his old team to show them, hey, we mean business, right? We're in the NFC North. And what did? They laid an egg on every aspect of this game, right? Offense, defense, literally, the turnovers with Caleb Williams and Swift, and then defensively, not putting up a fight. And at the end, Dan Campbell says a big F you to Ben Johnson and the Bears going for it on that fourth down. I just don't know at what point you're going to fight back. And this team, it seems like they stopped fighting during that game. And that's the problem I have with things, especially defensively. And the problem is, we talked about this, when Caleb Williams got hit by Azumah, right, late, and the offensive linemen are standing there. That made my blood boil, because at that point, you take 15 for your quarterback right there at that point to show that you're sticking up for him. So I have a problem with that, 100%. That's BS right there.
That's a great call out right there. Like,
no one even reacted.
They were just like,
the play was dead, and their linebacker came in and smoked your quarterback as hard as he could in the shoulder. Now, it wasn't his throwing shoulder, but that doesn't matter. That absolutely should have gotten a team-wide response. That's a fist fight. Yep. There was no fight.
Yeah, I mean, and the word is apathetic, right? When apathy starts to kick in, that's the worst thing you can have for an organization. I know the fans are apathetic. I mean, you can just feel it. How many people turned this game off at halftime? How many people left, and we're done with this? I wouldn't blame anybody. What is there to watch? You let go of the rope at the end of the halftime. Yeah, you get a bad call against the refs, but ultimately we can talk about all the different things. I mean, we're better off doing this post-game show just breaking down what they can do against the Cowboys next week, because there's nothing to talk about in this game. There were some positive signs from Caleb Williams in the offense, Odunze getting things going, but ultimately the buck stops with Ryan Poles. You can't really yell at Ben Johnson. He just got here. Can't really yell at Dennis Allen and talk about how they lost by 30. Half the defense is out with injury. T.J. Edwards, Jaylon Johnson can't finish the game. So you can be mad about all those things all you want. But as you said, when it comes to Ryan Poles, he's the one that's laid the groundwork for this organization the last few years. And ultimately, they have no Pro Bowlers, right? They have a first-round pick in Colson Loveland that's been non-existent for the first 2 weeks of the season. Your first-round pick is supposed to have an impact right away. You have 2 second-round picks that have no impact. 3 second-round picks today. It's 2 weeks in a row that have no impact to this team. 2 that are inactive. And then a third-round pick in Carman from last year that's also inactive. Those things start to add up over time. And so to expect a coaching staff to try to work around those things while you're also dealing with injuries and everything else, it's a tall task. I mean, going into Detroit was unlikely that this team was going to win the game. But at the same time, to see how this team responds to adversity or lack thereof, they have to develop a backbone. And I think the biggest thing that Ben Johnson needs to work on going into these final 2 games before the bye week is to get this team to play with some toughness, because there is none. There is no toughness. They just got boat raced in the second half. We're talking about week 2. You start the game with a kick out of bounds penalty. You start the second half with a false start by DeAndre Swift. Cairo is your captain, and he, like you said, he starts and finishes the game week 1 to week 2 with errors. I mean, it's just all the way across the board. What is there to say about this team? Other than that, it's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing to be a Chicago sports fan more times than not, and it's embarrassing to be a Chicago Bears fan basically every day of our lives, and this is what we have to deal with.
So I'm thinking about, like, when they were 3-14, and I would go into that locker room, I was like, this doesn't feel like a 3-14 team. That locker room, there were friendly dudes all over the place. It just felt like, okay, well, we know we're going to lose this year. This is a rebuild. We're tearing it down. Poles is, guys aren't going to be here. And it was kind of sort of just a fun place to be. And then the next year they go and they win 7 games. And that felt like they were headed in the right direction. And that was like it was okay in there then. And then last year, it started to get a little funky because coaching changes were coming. And so, but I was expecting this year it to feel like an urgency, like that just, we were talking about Moneyball, and this is what losing sounds like, all that. It doesn't feel like that around there right now. It hasn't hit yet. And so I do wonder, like this week, Ben should have all the ammo that he possibly needed right now to what can we do and what can't we do, and you bet, and everyone's going to listen because half of you are not going to be here because this is obviously beyond unacceptable, and it just should feel a lot different here because Ben is here to stay, and a lot of these guys are not going to be here to stay.
But why should anybody trust? Okay, great. They're going to get rid of all these guys and bring new. Why should anybody trust that the new ones are going to be any better?
That's a different conversation.
But that's my point. That's why I think to Greg's point, it just feels like you're stuck. You're stuck as a franchise. You're stuck in these losing ways. What happened before halftime was just like a classic Bears moment. Guy makes a great catch. Looks like he's going out of bounds, but he's actually in bounds. And the ref calls him out of bounds and stops the clock, but really he's in bounds. And then, so by a loophole there, the only way to rule it correctly by the refs is to do a 10-second runoff from the point where they realized it, and now there's 6 seconds on the clock. And every single Bears fan knew what was happening next. Touchdown. So instead of it being no points or even a field goal, had they put 1 second on the clock, we can go for the touchdown, and it's a touchdown. And that is just, to me, an example of, in most sports, but especially in football, you create your own luck or you create your unluck. And for this franchise that is just always stuck in losing ways, and it starts at the very top, always, and seemingly is never going to change up there, that's what happens. And then, so now they boat race you in the second half, and they're literally mocking you by going for, with the celebrations they're doing and going for it on 4th and goal, which was just completely disrespectful. I don't care about the disrespect. They honestly deserve it. I care that there was no response.
Exactly.
They can't even have their quarterbacks back when Anzalone's hitting Caleb Williams late in a beatdown. Nobody responds. And it doesn't matter who's the head coach. This happened under Matt Nagy. It happened under Matt Eberflus. And now it's happening under Ben Johnson.
Yeah, it was tough there because at the end of the game, you got guys like Al-Qadim Muhammad, right? No disrespect to him at all. But he's over there looking like a pro bowler with some of his pass rushes. He's eating. Everybody's eating. Aiden Hutchinson's coming back from his injury. He looked a lot more like himself. But everybody is feasting out there, right? They had 4 sacks to our 0. And the thing that bothered me leading up to this game the most, we talked about this. On Wednesday, you lost that game on Monday night in a bad fashion. Wednesday, what did they do? They didn't practice. Correct. That should never happen. After a bad loss like that, you're in full pads.
I called that out Monday night before we hadn't left the post game here in this building when the practice schedule came out, and Wootton and I were I go, Woot, is it weird they're not practicing Wednesday? What would Lovey have done? He was like, full pads on Wednesday?
Yeah. Like, you don't get rewarded for playing bad. This doesn't happen.
I'm still stuck on, like, look, man, this is the franchise. I understand that this is not Title Town USA over here. I get it. But this is the franchise of Walter Payton. This is the franchise of Dick Butkus. This is the franchise of an incredible team that you were a part, Woot, with dudes that had played with a ton of pride, and Urlacher and Briggs, who you'll hear from in a minute. Like, should be a certain level of pride and just responsibility wearing the uniform. And if I was Ben, and as meatball-y as that may sound, that's what I would be leaning into right now. There is not enough respect going on to playing for each other and playing for the city and playing for the uniform. That it's just not coming through right now at all. I mean,
then it's week 2, but I mean, if it's gonna continue, then put Ozzie Trapillo in for Darnell Wright if he doesn't know how to not have false starts every week.
No, sorry, he's inactive.
Right. But next week he shouldn't be. Send that message that way. Like, what? That's the only way you're going to get through. Jonah Jackson, how many mistakes has he made the last 2 weeks? This is an offense you're supposed to be familiar with. DeAndre Swift, you have a false start today. You're a veteran on this team. Cairo Santos, you're a captain. 2 weeks in a row, your play has been embarrassing. It's just one thing after another where you see these guys and you're just like, okay, the veterans on this team need to step up or step out of the way, because this losing culture has to be fixed by the guys that can set the tone. And if your veterans can't be dependent on that, then you need to start moving to the young guys.
And I'm not calling for fistfights here, because that's not going to do anything. But however, to what you brought up, Woot, when your quarterback gets smoked like that, this is football. It's a fight. It is a fight. That's what happens. The game's over. Nobody cares if you lose 800 yards. Your quarterback gets smoked. And I don't care if he's the most popular guy in the locker room or the least popular guy in the locker room. You protect your dude, and they didn't do it. It's representative of a lot of stuff that's going on.
It's definitely frustrating, but I think you have to remember what happened with Detroit when Dan Campbell first got there. They were struggling. Losing culture, a lot of guys in the locker room, it seemed like they weren't playing every week. Towards the end of that one season, they started to figure out. So it's not over yet, but obviously this is just very frustrating to see this after last week's performance and come out and lay an egg.
But I hear you on that, and that's like what Bears fans are going to have to grasp to, is that even the year Ben Johnson took over as the OC, they started, I think, 1-6.
1-6.
And
we're going to hear that a lot.
But Ben has said himself that they're already ahead of that point. He said where the offensive install was, this training camp was ahead of where it was when he first installed it with Jared Goff that year when they started 1-6 and turned things around. So that still doesn't add up to – look, no one's necessarily surprised the Bears are 0-2. That was always on the table. But when you completely blow a game in the fourth quarter in week one and you give up 52 points – to a team that didn't score a touchdown last week until the final minute of the game. They put up 52 today. That's what's unacceptable. That's what and
we called that out pregame though too, right? We called that out. Like, would there be the hangover? Because last year, when the Hail Mary happened, they let go of the rope, and we were wondering if that was going to happen.
Right.
And that's basically, at least, not even basically, that's what happened.
Right. That's the difference. Is you're not letting the team win the game. You're just losing it on your own. I mean, 2 weeks in a row, lack of discipline, lack of toughness. It's one thing to be 0-2 against two teams last year that won how many games? What, 29 games combined?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so, but it's about the lack of discipline, the lack of toughness. And this team has to find a way next week to bring this toughness out of them. No, this season is far from over. And I'm not going anywhere. I'll be right back here next week watching this team with the hope that they can turn this thing around.
You'll be at the tailgate at 5 a.m. setting it up.
Damn right I'll be at the tailgate at 5 a.m.
Yeah, what could go wrong with them playing against Matt Eberflus?
Bring it on, Flusy.
Hey, man, I mean, it's get off the mat time for this team. They've got to wake up. And, it's a long season, and I certainly will give this time for Ben Johnson to try to figure out what the identity of the team is. But you can't let, like Ben always talks about, I don't want to see the same mistakes repeated twice. Well, Darnell Wright 2 weeks in a row is making the same mistake, right?
I mean, that's just funny.
At some point you have to hold players accountable, period.
We got to take a time out. Before we do that, though, let's get our first Toyota Big Money Super Chat. I know we've got a bunch of them coming in. Our guy Craig Leach saying it perfectly here. $100. I need a drink.
You deserve better, Leach.
Craig, I wish I could send that $100 right back to you so you can get a really nice drink. You deserve it.
A couple of drinks.
Yeah.
You can throw in some more if you want. I feel bad. All y'all who are diehards right here throwing in money on this, you'd all deserve a big shout out because it ain't easy right now.
Yep, we'll continue to get more of your Big Money Super Chats in here, presented by Toyota. We do have to take our first time out. Don't go anywhere. As always, we got you covered for 2 hours, plus Brick by Brick after show coming up after this one. We're going to hear from Ben Johnson. We got Adam Jahns at Ford Field. I think he's actually going to the Lions locker room right now to kind of hear their perspective on some of the things.
I kind of like that because they actually played.
Oh, yeah.
Johns is just trying to go cover the Lions. That's what he's trying to do.
He's going to stay in Detroit.
Sorry,
Ben's
guys.
over there now, too. I'm really sorry. Yeah. Please let me back.
Can I get my house back, please? All right. We will take a timeout. Don't go anywhere. Back after this.
Whatever the sport, the app to bet is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. They take care of you, the people. Bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. I'm talking spreads, props, futures, or in-game. Circa Sports has it for you.
Making a bet right now.
Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois, just like Mark Carman is doing at this very exact moment. You got NFL Week 2, throw your bets down. You got baseball. The Cubs have their sights set on the playoffs, so make sure you're throwing some money down on the Cubbies. And download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Shout out to our good friends over at Circa Sports Illinois.
Falcons +3. Let's go.
And if you want to get control over your finances, do what I did and go get Monarch Money. It's super easy to use. The app is intuitive. And you're just going to feel organized. Feel organized and confident in your finances with Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean interface on your laptop or on your phone. And right now, just for our listeners, Monarch is offering 50% off your first year. Monarch does all the heavy lifting. They link all your accounts in minutes. It's super easy. Your investments are in there, your real estate, whatever you got going on from a financial aspect, you can get it all in Monarch, and they're going to track everything for you, all your budgeting, and you don't need to track every dollar. But ignoring your finances entirely can cost you, and that's where a little bit of work with Monarch Money is going to take you a long way. So don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code CHGO at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code CHGO. Time now for your franchise focus as we take a look at Caleb Williams' day. We really didn't mention it much in that first segment because of all the other problems going on. But Caleb finishing 19 of 30, 207 passing yards, threw in 27 rushing yards, a couple design runs in there too. 2 interceptions, that one really bad interception. Did I say touchdown? 2 touchdowns, one interception that was bad, and then 7 of 13 on third down conversions. Caleb was fine today. I mean, I don't
Finds a word.
like, you know, he's way down on the list of issues, I would say, today. Was it perfect? No. The interception was bad. I was getting a little frustrated. He's throwing it out of bounds on times when it seemed like could have been inbounds. And then when he needed to throw it away out of bounds, it's inbounds and it's intercepted. The deep ball into double coverage, that was way overthrown. It was a good thing it was overthrown because I think it would have been picked off.
Too.
But otherwise, you know, there were times where they were moving the ball. I didn't view, again, there's a long list of problems. I don't really have Caleb on that list today too much.
Yeah, I don't look, when I look at this game, obviously there's things he needs to clean up and play better. But I think the defense just played so atrocious, right? And I never want to call somebody out, but you look at a guy like Kevin Byard, a veteran guy that's been around this league multiple times, eyes in the backfield. His guy he's covering, touchdowns both times. Like little things like that have been creeping up in the run game as well. Not setting the edge, Carm talking about that. It's just these little things keep creeping in, and you're never going to be a good team if you can't stop the run. And the Bears have shown that back-to-back weeks they can't stop the run. And then you make these teams two-dimensional, and all of a sudden a guy like Jared Goff, once he gets a little confidence, he's going to carve you up like he did today.
I mean, it really sucks that you can go through a whole game and have, if you're being fair, not really even an ability to evaluate the quarterback. He wasn't great. He wasn't bad. He was okay. The Bears were just so bad today that you can't even really get a fair analysis on the quarterback. The connection with him and Rome is, I think, the one thing you can at least have some level of hanging your hat on. Okay, that's a second-year quarterback and a second-year wide receiver who seem to have a certain level of chemistry. That there's a building block right there. But the rolling out right and throwing an interception when it's very easy to throw it out of bounds, that ain't great. But it's also like, at that point the game almost felt like it was. I'm not saying it was over, but it didn't even feel within reach really.
Well, I mean,
I'm maybe being a little kind. I don't know.
yeah, definitely being kind, because in that moment, everyone was taking a turn making a mistake. You're the quarterback of this team, so you can't also add to that.
That's fair.
And people want to say he was trying to throw it out of bounds. I don't believe he was. He was trying to throw it to Olamide Zaccheaus.
40 yards over his head?
How many times has he severely overthrown things? I personally, we'll find out.
I mean, maybe you're right.
They'll ask him after the game, but it felt like he saw Olamide come open on the side, and then just based off of the way he was trying to throw it on the run, he overthrew it. You can't compound the problem. You're trying to do too much. It's 3rd and 30, whatever it is. You just got to get that thing, throw it into the stands. But ultimately, when you talk about the offense and Caleb Williams, honestly, I have to go back and watch it because I blacked out from depression at some point in the second quarter. But it did feel like the offense, at least from a passing game perspective, did start to scheme up some easy throws. Like, I'm starting to see progress in terms of where they're trying to go offensively.
The touchdown to Rome was sweet.
It's a long ways to go, but then you have a DeAndre Swift fumble, as they were moving the ball. You have the Caleb Williams interception. You have holding on, the center, Drew Dahlman. You have false starts on Darnell Wright.
Holding by him, chop block.
Yeah, it's just one thing after another where this team just cannot get out of their own way, and it's on both sides of the ball. The defense is the bigger focus right now. But, I mean, I thought there was progress today in that regard. Now they just have to clean up the 48 other mistakes they made, and maybe they'll have a game next week.
I'm frustrated right now.
I mean, when you look at this, I think it comes down to the trenches. You look at the trenches offensively and defensively compared to Detroit. They kicked our ass. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to win the battle of the trenches, and I knew coming into the season the defensive line was a concern for me just because of the other pass rusher. I think Montez Sweat is a very good left end when he has a player to complement him. We just don't have that dominant pass rusher opposite him.
But we knew that, though. I think we spent the whole offseason talking about that.
3 seasons.
Guys, I don't really want to do this right now because it's been 2 games. But what has frustrated me so much, especially with some of these draft picks, they pass up the obvious pick for the cute pick. And let me be very clear before I say this. I like Colson Loveland. I think Colson Loveland's going to be good. He showed nothing but good route running ability and the ability to get open. But Tyler Warren was there, and he was the obvious pick. He just caught a 41-yard catch right now. He had 7 catches and 9 targets last week. I just pulled up an ESPN story while we were sitting here. It says, Tyler Warren has become centerpiece of Indianapolis Colts offense. Yeah. So, if you are going to make the Colson Loveland pick, then make him part of the offense. They're not even using him. They're not scheming up plays for him. So it's either he can't do it or they're just not doing it, and neither one is an acceptable answer when Tyler Warren's doing what he's doing already for the Indianapolis Colts. And again, I don't really want to make this like Tyler Warren versus Colson Loveland after 2 games, but it is a theme with Ryan Poles. Jalen Carter's sitting there. Now we draft Darnell Wright. I had Ariante Ursary 13th on our Bears 100 this year. 13th. He's sitting there in the 2nd round for you. Nope, got to trade these picks and get 2 guys that are going to be inactive. It just keeps adding up. It's always they're betting on traits. Well, you'd hope at least one of those gambles will turn into 1 Pro Bowler.
Look, in addition to just the drafting, and maybe if there was just a better situation here, it would look different. But you're paying roughly $60 million combined to DJ and Montez. You are not getting that level of production. You're not getting close to that level of production. So it's not just the drafting. It's the way he's handing out the dollars, too. They're paying Jonah Jackson a ton of money. They paid Nate Davis a ton of dough. it's not just in the draft. Dude is scuffling all over the place.
That's why I was really surprised when they extended Ryan Poles. Just I didn't think he deserved that, but I guess they wanted to try to lock it in with Ben Johnson's contract. But it's just frustrating from that standpoint.
That's the point, though, right? I mean, we don't know how these conversations went behind the scenes, but in my opinion, Ben signed off on I want to be tied to Ryan Poles for the next 5 years. So you can blame everything on Ryan Poles for this draft, but Ben Johnson has his fingerprints on this draft as well. Colson Loveland, Luther Burden, Ozzie Trapillo. I have to imagine that Ben Johnson had some input on those draft picks. Well, use them. Kyle Monungai's in your backfield, and it's 3rd and 1, and it's 4th and 1. Use him. Instead, you do quarterback sneak. And that was Ben Johnson's turn at screwing the pooch here today.
But that was kind of my point. If you are going to make that pick, and if you are going to go get Luther Bird in the 2nd round, use them.
Yeah.
Put them on on punt return in addition to kick return. Use these guys. Like the Colts are doing with Tyler Warren. It really doesn't matter who's better than the other one yet. But what my biggest frustration is the Colts landed Tyler Warren, and they are getting a lot out of him already. Season started, bam, we're going to use this guy.
Look at Daniel Jones. Looks pretty dang good this year so far.
All right.
Yeah, okay. Whatever you're going to go ahead.
Well, we got our players-only segment coming up. I hear Ben Johnson's got some attitude in his presser, so we'll play that coming up as well. Johnsy's sending some stuff in from Detroit. We'll hear from him. And, yeah, that's all coming up. Back after this.
Hey, this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Thank you to our friends at BetterHelp. We turn to some funny places for support, but not everyone is a therapist. Not everyone is the one. Find your right match with BetterHelp. We've all done it before. The barista, the hairdresser, the random work person.
The lady in London.
Yeah.
Pam.
Pam. I should have stuck with Pam.
She actually did have some good life advice.
Pam was great. But these are quality therapists, BetterHelp therapists, who work accordingly to a strict code of conduct. They're fully licensed in the U.S. This is the real deal here. Over 30,000 therapists. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, helping serve over 5 million people globally. We thank them for doing this. And as the largest therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide the mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/CHGO. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/CHGO.
And it might be 80 degrees today, but don't be fooled because winter will be here before you know it. Is your home's heating up for the challenge? You got to check out Four Seasons. If you got a plumbing emergency, call Four Seasons. An electrical emergency, call Four Seasons. Need a new hot water tank installed today?
Call Four Seasons.
That's right. Now is the time to schedule your Four Seasons furnace tune-up. Thinking about a whole home generator, they got you covered for that too. Four Seasons, they guarantee same-day installation for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, and generator needs with no extra charge for nights, weekends, or holidays. Check out their other offers right now. You can save up to $4,000 on furnaces and comfort systems with Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric has been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. Your trusted local experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com. Back here on your CHGO Bears post-game show presented by Bet365 and Toyota. Time for our players-only segment. Got Lance Briggs alongside Corey Wootton here. 55, let's start with you because they almost put up 55 points.
Lay it on them. Lay it on them, LB.
52. What did you see on defense?
I saw guys that were undisciplined. I saw guys whose fundamentals broke down. I saw guys who couldn't get off blocks, couldn't get into their gaps. I saw guys whose eyes they had poor eye discipline. And because of that, tight ends leaked out on would-be touchdowns. I saw guys that didn't communicate And as we get a motion guy, especially as you get close to the end zone, when you don't communicate, you assume somebody else knows exactly what you're doing, and they don't. And now you have a guy that's running free, and this is the highest level of football that you can play. Yep. This is what everybody looks up to, and that's the standard. And if we're not communicating, we have guys running free. That's a huge problem. And this is week 2. It is too early to be feeling the way we feel.
3 of those touchdowns, wide open receivers.
Yeah.
That should not happen in football. This is your full-time job. Literally trust your key, especially in the red zone. Know what you have, and the communication is breaking down. And then the run game, what we're seeing. The thing is, sometimes you're going to be wrong, right? Yep. Whether a defensive lineman's going in the wrong gap. But if you're going to be wrong in the right way, right? Yep. Go there and commit to what you're doing.
Commit to it.
Then you can fit off them.
Play fast.
And that's the problem. They're not on the same page there. You're always going to make mistakes, but nobody's setting the edge. And then when they're doing something, they're playing peekaboo in the run game as a defensive lineman. You can't do that because linebacker, you're fitting off me. You're not going to know what you're going to do.
It doesn't get any better at the linebacker spot, though, Corey. I mean, shoot, I was saying we needed TJ to get in there, but at the same time, TJ has to get off a block. They're coming downhill. Listen, you got running backs that are coming downhill. You cannot waste time with a would-be blocker. All right, he's already playing him half a man. He knows he has this gap that's coming down. Now, whether he's supposed to have help or not, TJ can make that play. All right, and if TJ makes that play, it goes from a 30-yard run by Jahmyr Gibbs to a run for maybe 1 or 2 yards. It's a huge difference, but that's where we're at.
Yep. Jerry Azumah also sitting down here with us.
You guys talking Bears?
Yeah. We're talking defense now, man. Anything that stuck out for you?
Defense? Were they there? Did they show up?
They might have been there.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, they looked very uninspired, overwhelmed. You know what I'm saying? This whole offseason, they were talking about making changes and playing with discipline, and we just didn't see any of that at all. And that was very tragic today because I thought that today they were going to correct some things and turn some things around, and I was really looking forward to that. But
you were really wrong.
I was extremely wrong. Yeah. Extremely wrong.
When I was looking at this game,
I hate it when you're wrong.
I thought based on how they played against the Packers, right? The Packers really stuffed the run. So I thought if they were able to knock out the run, right? You put the pressure on Jared Goff, even back to his times for the Rams. When you put the pressure on him, he struggled at times. But now he's got the option for play action and everything. They're worried about the run. Kevin Byard, eyes in the backfield twice. All of a sudden, we got 3 guys in the end zone wide open. So the ability to run the ball really puts the defense off balance that we saw all day from the Bears.
Yeah.
Right.
Montgomery, he's squeaking for 5 yards, for 8 yards, for 4 yards, for 10 yards. It's you have to stop the run. You got to stop something.
Yeah, I mean, you have to stop the explosive plays also.
Right.
I mean, these guys are getting chunk yardage left and right. Whether it's on the ground or through the air. We just couldn't stop anything. You know what I'm saying? You have to try to make this team one-dimensional somewhere. And that was just very unfortunate.
They were
didn't
three-dimensional today.
What do you do, though, if you're Dennis Allen? Because here's the bad news. I mean, they were already scrambling to cover Amon-Ra when Jaylon Johnson was out there. And then he re-aggravated that groin, which doesn't sound good. TJ Edwards re-aggravates his hamstring.
Not good.
That doesn't sound good. I don't think you can count on either of those guys for at least a couple weeks now, and it might even be worse than that. So you're Dennis Allen looking at the tape and then not having those guys to come help you, and who knows what's going on with Kyler Gordon. He didn't practice at all last week, didn't play. What could you even do right now to slow this?
It's a great question. That's what we like to call a head scratcher.
Yeah.
I don't even think the coaches know at this point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, they talked about putting together some game plans and different schemes and things like that, and they were just very unsuccessful with everything. I just think that they have to start off with one thing and be committed to that, whether it's rushing the passer, whether it's stopping the run. They have to be committed to at least doing one of those things.
I think
first.
It's got to be stopping the run first and foremost. That's something that you can teach a guy off the street. Right? If he's toughness, being able to stay in a gap, being able to shed a blocker, rally to the football, that's something that anybody can do. Right? It doesn't take talent, it just takes effort. At that point, I think that needs to be the focus, because if they can stop the run, then all of a sudden Dennis Allen can draw blitzes and pressures to get pressure on the opposing quarterback.
Yeah, but you see, one of the things, there's a lot of movement in Dennis Allen's defenses. A defense that communicates is a dangerous defense. So, if we're not hearing communication out there, we're not hearing them talk to each other, then they're all out there assuming everyone knows what everybody else is doing. That's one of the worst mistakes you can make in defense, is assuming the guy next to you knows what I'm going to be doing. Yeah. Without us communicating, now I don't care if they know exactly what we're doing.
Right.
But if I communicate with Zoom, he gives me a call back. We know exactly what we're doing.
Right.
So stop the run. Communicate. Know what everybody's job is. Because when we get down to the red zone and everybody knows what their job is, maybe we can stop these plays.
Right. And on top of that, it's about playing physical too. Yep. Defense is all about physicality. You know what I'm saying? And stopping the run, it's all about physicality. You got to go up there and want to do that. And at the same time, these wide receivers were it was like a track meet out there. These guys were getting unmolested on the line. They were just flying down the football field. Like, you got to get up there and you got to bump these guys a little bit, knock them off balance a little bit, destroy the timing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to go up there and be physical. You can't just line up and just say, you know what, we're just going to let a track meet happen, because that's what happened in explosive plays.
Especially with a guy like Jameson Williams. I mean, good luck. He's running 100 out there.
Yeah, you know what he's running.
You got to get your hands.
There's no secret. They told us that they were going to challenge us deep. They told us that. Yep. You know what I'm saying? They're going to try to air it out and loosen up the secondary. And if you get to a situation where you can't get your hands on wide receivers and just let them do track meets, then you're going to be toast.
It's going to be a problem. Yep. It's going to be a problem.
All right, Lance and Jerry will be back after this show with Brick by Brick after show. They'll be alongside Greg Braggs for that one. So a lot more coming up with these guys. I do want to hit a big money super chat before we hit our break here, and we're going to hear from Ben Johnson. I keep being told it was really, really good. So we got that coming up next. We will start here with Solid Angle, though, a $50 super chat. We appreciate it. Said I had low expectations, and somehow the Bears still disappoint. Let's sneak in one more, too, Steven, because I know we've got a bunch of these. Bill O, $50. We need a pass rusher, and we need a running back. And did we have one from Huss, too? Let's get our guy Kerry Huss in here with a $100 super chat. Kerry Huss said, more disappointment. I got to say the most blame has to go to Ben Johnson. He does know it's not the preseason, right? That's his best game plan. Disgusted. Season is done already. Look at the stats for teams starting 0-2. Same old Bears. We'll be back in 2 minutes. We'll have the head coach, Ben Johnson, that guy that Kerry's putting the blame on. We'll hear what he had to say. Don't go anywhere. Back in 2.
Got to give a shout out to our good friends over at Shady Rays. They've been with us since the beginning, and we appreciate their endless support. Shady Rays is changing the game. These sunglasses are made for real life. Seriously good-looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. We all know that moment when you realize you've left your favorite sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of your car at a gas station 3 states away. Yeah. Well, the great thing about Shady Rays is if you lose or break your pair, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you another pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now I actually wear my sunglasses without fear on hikes, at concerts, on the boat, wherever. Shady Rays is the eyewear that has your back, and we've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use the code CHGO for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades, rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
And a shout out to our friends at Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake, where they're slashing prices on new cars, giving you huge savings all month long. Get involved. Come in today and shop the year-end model sales event. That would be the model year-end sales event. However, I just said that. Bottom line, get on up to Ray Chevrolet. You can get $3,000 to $11,000 off MSRP. They've got 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. The Chevy Trax just rode out of there so sweet. You know the story of that. Don't miss out on their model year-end sales event. It's going on all month long for employee pricing on every new Chevrolet model. Shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or at raychevrolet.com. They're one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, and they've been serving the community since
1963.
Together, let's drive Ray Chevrolet. We love you.
Bears smoked in Detroit. The guy that used to work for the Lions and now is the head coach of the Bears. His name's Ben Johnson. Can't wait to hear what he had to say after this one. Here's the head coach.
you lose a game like that, man, it's a kick in the teeth. Nothing about that feels good. Unfortunately, I've been through a number of these over the course of my career. These guys, I tell you, they're hurt. It stinks. They fought the entire game, and when you play a good team on the road and you have turnovers and you don't convert on fourth down and you give up explosive plays on defense, it can go sideways in a hurry, and that was really the name of the game. Offensively, we were able to move the ball a little bit in the first half, and then the turnovers and the lack of fourth down conversion bit us in the rear, and then defense had more explosive plays than we wanted to going into the game. We knew that they were an explosive offense, and we had a plan, and we didn't contain those playmakers very well. The quarterback for them really got after us and made us hurt. I look at his numbers, and it looks like he had an outstanding day. Certainly felt that way on the sideline throughout. So, and then in the second half, you get behind by that much, and it becomes a throwing game like that, and really just plays into their hands. So, penalties were still an issue for us. False starts, we had a couple of those. We had some holdings. Really hurt us. So, with that, I'll go ahead and open it up.
What do you think Caleb going to the ball away and also when he comes out at the end, was that just the score's high and he wasn't hurt?
The one that he got the.
Yeah, well, let's start with it. When he gets the ball away. And then at the end, when is that just the game's out of hand?
Yeah. At that point in the game, we figured that we really didn't have a chance to come back in that.
What went wrong in the operation of the
I got to go back and I got to look at it from behind. It's hard for me to tell with just the still pictures, but just like I told our guys, I got a lot of confidence in them when it becomes a 3rd and 1 that we can get a first down in 2 plays.
It looked like on that 4th down that he got the play like 12 seconds left or something.
Well, it can't happen because with the thing cuts off at 15. So, which one are you?
The 4th and
Okay.
Yeah. He got back to the
Yeah, he might have. I got to talk to him about it.
Ben, what were you told at the end of the first half when you waved your team off the field, then they had to come back and there were 6 seconds left? What happened?
I had the official right next to me throughout that process. He told me it was halftime, so we went in for halftime.
And then what happened? What did they explain after?
Land came over to me at the end of the 3rd quarter, and he told me, I believe, that they ruled it out of bounds. They reviewed it and said it was in bounds, and so it was a 10-second runoff. So we'll see what it looks like on the game tape. That certainly was not communicated to us.
And what about the defensive plan that you had coming into the day didn't quite pan out for you today?
Yeah, we knew that we need to set the edge there to try to contain their running game. I think they were able to bounce and get the edge a few times there, and so that hurt us in the running game. And then in the passing game, we simply didn't affect the quarterback. We tried to mix up the coverages, and they hurt us a little bit in some of our single high stuff with their speed. So the explosive plays are an issue. You feel those. I did think the defense did a great job despite the turnovers and the 4th down. They hit the field. They were being resilient. They were fighting their tails off. It just didn't go our way today.
Ben, how do you get a team to respond to a kick in the teeth like today was?
To a kick in the teeth?
Yeah, just this
we have a lot of prideful guys. We're 2 games into the season, and so I think they're just as disappointed as the coaching staff is, and we're committed to getting this thing right. I have a lot of belief in them. We have leaders, we have captains. I mean, when you're around this league long enough, these games happen, and it doesn't feel any better when it happens, but the good teams I've been on, they find a way to respond, and I know our guys will do that.
Do you believe Dan Campbell ran it up on you on that 4th and 4 going forward?
What's he supposed to do? It's 4th and goal. What do you want him to do? Yeah, he could have kicked the field goal. They don't kick field goals. They go for it there. So he was doing what he was supposed to do. That's what he does.
How demoralizing is this loss considering you were coming back, you left for Chicago? I mean,
it's not demoralizing at all. It's not demoralizing at all. We got to play better. Simple as that.
Some of these squandered opportunities after the fumble, the defense stops on 3rd down, get the ball back. What's your message going to be about not wasting those opportunities and putting field position to your team?
Yeah, I mean, when we play good teams, you got to capitalize on every opportunity that comes your way. And we didn't do that. You're -1 in the turnover category. And you really can equate the failed fourth downs as turnovers as well. And so when you play a good team like that, you give up explosives, you give up all those yards. That's the way it goes.
Ben, you talked about being in this league for these type of games when they're blowouts. Having experienced this before, what do you think is the formula to bounce back from this going forward?
Yeah, the biggest thing is we're not going to hang our heads and get down on this. It's one game. We're going to be just fine. We'll take our corrections, coaching staff, players, we're going to learn from it, and we'll be committed to having a great week of preparation coming up this week and finding our first win of the season. That's all we care about. You'd have to ask him that. Truthfully, I didn't feel it as much as it probably could have. I was trying to get him to call as fast as I could, but I thought for the most part, other than those false starts, those guys handled the noise fairly well.
Is this the environment you expected coming back here?
Yeah. Yep. Sure is. Yep.
And you said you wanted to call more runs. How do you feel about that game plan and how that panned out today?
I don't have the exact number. Like I said, when you start getting down like that, it's hard to stay committed to the run game.
What's next with the kicking situation? You brought in a guy to the practice squad, kind of was had some struggles the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, Jake's a talented player, and we'll see kind of where he's at. But we have a lot of confidence in Cairo.
Is it an open competition at this point? Or
no, we have a lot of confidence in Cairo.
What would it like to just be here back where you've been for so long?
Really didn't even think about that a whole lot. I didn't interact with those guys until, walking off the field there at the end. A couple guys said hey to me, and that was really it. So we came in focused on winning this ball game, and we came up way short.
Comfortable at all to get to shake Dan's hand after, calling his?
It's always good to see Dan Campbell, but not when you're on the losing side like that.
Quarterback sneaks, what's the key to just making sure that gets executed properly?
Say it again.
The quarterback sneaks.
The sneaks?
Yeah, well, what's the key to getting that executed?
I got to look at it now. I tell you what, I'll give that defense a lot of credit. Kelvin Shepard, I think he's a phenomenal football coach, and he's just going to continue to ascend in this league. Last week, Green Bay struggled a little bit in short yardage as well. I think DJ Reader does a phenomenal job knocking guys back in that situation. I'll have to see how much of a factor he particularly was on those two plays, but we've got a ways to go there to get those quarterback sneaks to be effective plays for us. And if that's not the way we go, then we'll find another way to get the first down.
What did Dan say to you at midfield?
That's for me and him.
Play calling by John Morton, the balance of run and pass.
Yeah, seemed like they mixed it up really well. And, when you have the quarterback coming like that and you got the pass catchers and the runners going like that, then it's hard to slow them down. So I think the world of Johnny, and 52 points is a good day.
Look, I'm going to both sides this. Because I think Ben Johnson still deserves the benefit of the doubt. It's been 2 games. But from the perspective of those of us that have been here for way more than 2 games, mostly you guys watching the show, listening to this podcast, the fan, does that just not sound like here we go again. They fought hard. They were resilient.
Especially defensively.
Everything's going to be fine. We're going to make the corrections. We're going to have a good week of practice. I mean, this organization, oh, my goodness. And it's not Ben's fault. He's just doing his job. I get it. He can't have panic after 2 games. He's not going to turn into Mike Ditka after going 0-2. But the other side of that is if your reaction, my reaction was just listening to that, it's exhausting, isn't it? It's the same old story.
Different year.
I give him some level of credit for having a big picture focus and what do you want him to do? That's what they do. They go for it on 4th down. I'm not going to be mad about the Lions throwing it in the end zone, up 80 billion points in the 4th quarter and adding on. That's just what they do. We're going to have a great week of practice, all the things. I'm not exactly sure, and Woot, you can speak to this a lot better than any of us can, as far as like what losing the locker room looks like here early in the season, because this is a guy that I think is very well respected in the locker room. It's interesting, though, how he's playing this. So, look, I don't know what I was expecting, but that was a little on the positive side from what I thought was going to come out of his mouth. But I do give him some credit for just trying to just stay in reality here. It's 2 games in. We got to play better, period, end of story.
I don't think he's losing the locker room by any means, but it's just disappointing, the lack of fight. It just seemed like there was no fight out there. Like we talked about, the late hit to Caleb, nobody helping him out, nobody getting 15 yards, checking Azumah and the rest of the defense, and then them putting it on you 4th and 5 inside the red zone, up 1,000,000 points, getting a 50 burger on you. At some point, regardless of how bad you're playing, you don't let that happen on 4th down. Yeah. And they let it happen, and they had Dale matched up on Amon St. Brown.
Why don't they had it matched up? It just nobody communicated on the back end, and so that's what happened. Then you just look like you're.
But then you have your defensive end trying to cover him or attempting to.
I think he just recognized, that guy's going to be uncovered, and he tried to drop back in coverage, and there's no way he's.
It's like we were talking on the players only segment. The communication is not there.
Right.
You yell it. It doesn't matter who hears it or not. You have to be on the same page. And multiple times, 3 consecutive touchdowns, guys are wide open because of that lack of communication. You're keeping your eyes in the backfield. Everybody has a key and a responsibility. Can't break down like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're 2 games in. I don't really have an issue with whatever Ben said there. He's trying to get this team to figure out who they are as a team. I think right now, as hard as it is, and everyone's just going to, want to just throw the arrows. We talked about this for 2 months leading into training camp, and as we got through the preseason, we're going to have to be patient. Ben Johnson said after Family Fest, if we do this kind of stuff, we're not going to win a lot of games. Well, that stuff is the undisciplined pre-snap penalties, and they have bled into the regular season. So Ben identified these things. They are still not being fixed. He can't go out there and play offensive line for this team. He cannot go out there and play quarterback for Caleb Williams. He cannot go out there and play corner for injured secondary guys. And so ultimately, we have to show some patience for Ben Johnson. And the last thing I'm going to do personally is start piling on him for how he addresses the media in a postgame presser after getting whooped by 40 points. If it were me and I was Ben Johnson, I wouldn't even go to the podium. You can find me. But he can't do that. So, he's going to do his answers and get a actions speak louder than words. He can say whatever he wants in the press conference. I want to see how he handles this team this week and what it looks like next Sunday. And we're not going to know until we get there.
All right. Caleb Williams also spoke. Here's the quarterback after, again, just a blowout. But it's tricky because the offense was fine-ish. Here's Caleb.
What's your initial reaction to a game that got away from you like this one did today?
Yeah. First, you start with that team came out and played a hell of a game on the other side of the ball. We had momentum swings where we were taking punches and, we ended up turning the ball over, having false starts and things like that. And, with a team like that and you have 2 turnovers and a couple false starts or just overall penalties on the opposite side of the ball, with a team like that on the other side, they make you pay, and they did that today.
It's 2 really up and down games offensively to start the season. And did you expect it to be going better and clicking a little better at this point? And why hasn't it been?
I always expect to come out and play well as an offense. That's the expectation, but it's not really necessarily surprising or anything like that. It's new coach, new offense, and all of that, and a bunch of new players, and we're all trying to figure it out together at one. And like I've always said, move together. Everybody do their 1/11th and move together when the ball snap and go execute the plays that are called.
What happened on the interception?
Yeah, ended up rolling out. Probably need to throw it away right there. Tried to make a play, but I thought OZ was going to go high, and he ended up breaking flat, and it was just a miscommunication on the field.
What happened on the sequence with the two quarterback sneaks, the 3rd and 1, then the 4th and 1?
Yeah, just got to go get it. I thought I got it on the first one, and I guess I got closer. And then, the second one, I would say I got it, and, the refs end up spotting it back, and, you move on from that play, but just got to go get it.
Ben had a long conversation after the 4th down one. What was the breakdown there? What were you guys?
It was just us communicating about what's next, and then also just him saying, maybe go right next time or instead of left, or whatever the case may have been. Because we got a bunch of yards on the first, or closer. We got more yards on the first one than we did in the second one. So, being able to just communicate with him, move on, and get out there and go and try and execute plays again.
What's the key for you in those situations of reading it right and then getting it?
Yeah, find the open gap and go get it.
Okay, we talked about having understood that it's a new coach, it's a new offense, it takes time to adjust. And it seems in periods you all didn't struggle to move down the field. So what do you think is personally missing from making that more consistent?
Yeah, I think it's just us being, like you said, consistent in the way of, our technique, our, the plays that are called, and going out there and being technical about and beating the man in front of you. And that includes myself. That's, and I think we just do that over and over and over again. Don't try and create any explosive plays that, try and be Superman. They'll come and everybody just do their 111th, and we keep moving on.
You had some time to kind of reflect on this on the sideline when Tyson came in. I mean, what's going through your mind as you're sitting through the last 7 minutes of this game?
Yeah, I think in that situation it sucks that your guys are out in the field and you're not, and that's frustrating because you put so much time, energy, and effort, and those guys are out there still battling, and you're on the sideline, but it was coach's decision, and you got to move on from it, and I think in that situation, I'm thinking of how can I help this team, this offense, whether it's me saying something on the field, or to whoever, or completing one more pass, or whatever the case may be, just to get the momentum going, get us going, and get this team rolling, get these guys rolling, and try and go win games.
How do you come to terms with 0-2 start to this season?
Yeah, we got. How do I come to terms with it? We got 15 more games. It's the first 2 games, and there's been on multiple occasions teams that rally back and go on a run, and that's what we're focused on. To do that, you got to focus on the next one. This game's over. They scored a bunch of points. We didn't score enough. That's typically how football works. You don't score enough points when you go out there. That you tend to lose the game, and so being able to move on to the next game, next play, whatever the case may be, is where we're focused. And we all believe in each other. Coach says something extremely powerful to us after the game is how much he believes in each and every one of us, coaches included, and we believe in them. Everything that they put up. Everything that they call, everything that that we discuss, anything like that, we believe in them, and I think we just got to keep believing, keep pushing, and not let anything divide us or anything like that. We got to keep going. It's only 2 games, and we got to keep moving along.
Why would you describe what Ben said to you guys as extremely powerful? From
your coach. You go 0-2. Obviously, we're out there playing. We're out there. Getting after it, and we just lost the game. And the coaches are a part of that also. Yes, they feel it, but we're out there getting after it, and we go and get our tail kicked. And so for a coach to say that after the game, that he still believes in us, and when it comes time that it's a big 3rd down on defense, or it's a big 4th down on offense, that coach is going to go for it, and obviously in the right situation. But the belief is there, the trust is there, and we got to keep chugging along and find ways to go win the next game.
What do you see in your own performance your individual performance over the first 2 games that you say, I have got to get this on track right now?
First game, I missed a couple passes. I think this game, hit some key passes and didn't feel like, anything was off. My footwork was solid and was hitting my guys. So I think I got to go look at the tape and figure out, this game, how it can help us. physically and mentally, maybe on the sideline or something, or talking to the guys, whatever the case may be. But haven't figured that out yet for this game, and I got to go figure it out and watch film on the plane.
What's the dynamic been between you and Ben the last 2 weeks, where there's some tough film to watch? He's also been very supportive of you publicly. What's the balance there in terms of accountability and support?
Tough film to watch. Yeah, there's always accountability with us and Ben. It's always pointing a finger at yourself before you go point at anybody else. But I'm not necessarily going to say tough film or anything like that. Like, it's football. You're going to make mistakes. You got to go out there and not be fearful of making a mistake, and that's how I play football. If something happens, all right, cool, move on to the next play, and let's go back out there, and that's the mindset for myself, and something I try and portray to everybody else. I threw a pick today, came back out there and tried to go down and score again, I think that's something that we're going to keep striving for. I think that's something that we're going to keep working on as a group and as a collective. But you always point the finger at yourself before you point the finger at anybody else, and I think that's the mindset for us and the team.
As a team, how do you keep the belief and the trust from eroding after a lopsided loss?
Yeah, we manage the expectations. We focus on ourselves. We're truthful. We're truth tellers. And then from there, you go out there and you work hard in the practice field and in film and things like that, and you come out the next week and we fight. Simple.
What's your initial reaction to the game that Rome had today? You guys obviously connected a handful of times.
Yeah, I think that's just us being together for – what is it, a year and a half now, or year and some change, and so being able to just keep finding that rhythm with him, being able to get in rhythm with the other wide receivers, and get in rhythm with tight ends and everything, just get everybody going. It's important to have everybody going and everybody to understand their role in this offense, that everybody is important. And I think today when you have a guy come out and he's making great catches for you and getting off man coverage and press and all these different things. You want to keep feeding them the ball, and I think that's just what happened today.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. The Bears.
So Caleb Williams after the game, a few takeaways from there. I mean, one is you could tell he really didn't want to be taken out of the game. You okay over there?
I'm good.
Okay. Didn't want to be taken out late. I understand why he was, though. It was looking kind of dangerous, them getting sacked, and those defensive ends at that point were teeing off. And
I couldn't believe how long the Lions play. I mean, I know you only got 53 guys on a roster, but
they were trying to stick it to him, man.
Yeah, Branch got hurt.
And Branch got hurt late when he didn't need to be out there, so that was interesting. I don't want to sound like a coach, but this is definitely one where we have to go back and really dissect the offensive side of things. You can't win a football game when your defense gives up 52 points. I also think there were times in this game where there was a crucial stretch in the second quarter we can't ignore, where they're driving, they fumble the ball. DeAndre Swift fumbles.
It's a huge moment.
Great play by Branch to knock that thing out. That's what he does. Defense manages to get a stop. You have the missed field goal in there. Offense gets it back. Then you have the turnover on downs because you couldn't pick up 1 yard. First of all, it was 2nd and 1. They got a little greedy, and I get it. 2nd one can be in anything down. You're going to take some shots there. But you could also just run the ball and move the sticks. So they don't get anything on 2nd down. Then they go back-to-back quarterback sneaks. And it was interesting hearing that exchange with Ben Johnson, apparently, because he essentially told him he should have gone right instead of left. And the first one he did go right. The second one he went left. I thought he had a false step on both of them, which is never good. And also I thought on the second one he actually got it. Yeah. Like if you look at where his helmet was and where the ball should have been.
It's close.
There was no video that was going to overturn that, though. You couldn't see. It did annoy me, though, that the ref was so eager to call him short and signaled first down before the ball was even spotted. Like, I don't understand that sometimes with referees. Like, why can't you just go through your process, use all the tools you have, spot the ball? Now we got virtual measurement. We got video if we need it. No. No, I got this. That was definitely short. First down, Lions. Okay, whatever. And then the big message, apparently, from the head coach, which actually makes his press conference make more sense, because you have to convey the same message publicly. You can't go tell your players you believe in them and then go rant on them
and rip them
in the press conference. So apparently that was the big strategic message from Ben Johnson. They get in the locker room. We believe in you. Vote of confidence. And that could be early in the season. That can. Woot, I'll go to you on that. Like, what do you think as a player if that's your message from your coach after losing 52-21?
I kind of don't like that message, honestly. Sometimes you need a kick in the ass, honestly. They didn't play. I could understand if it was competitive and maybe it got out of hand towards the end. But this whole game in the second half, it just got extremely out of hand. Undisciplined things, coverage issues, gap discipline across the board. And it just seemed like at some points they weren't fighting. And that's the problem I have with it. Hopefully when they meet actually in the locker room or the meeting room next week, hopefully he tells them how it really is. Because they played terribly. They played like a terribly coached football team. And you guys have said these issues have plagued them all training camp. The penalties, the holding, the false starts. And you got to think, the way that they do training camp nowadays, you look at a lot of these teams, even some of the best teams in the league, they start out the season not looking like they normally do, right? They hit their groove week 6. Kansas City Chiefs have been doing that for a while. Baltimore started 0-2 last year. So the way that they do training camp and these off seasons, guys aren't primed and ready to play like they should.
Right. And that's the hardest part to me. There are things that have translated from camp to the regular season that we saw, and there were warning signs or even positive signs. Odunze was a positive sign we seen at camp. That translated today. That's exactly what we saw at training camp the whole time. The penalties are obvious. That's been going on for a month and a half now. But I think the hardest thing to evaluate at training camp is the trenches. Your run game specifically and your pass rush. And I will try again. Can the Bears try again? Because to me, that's the hardest part is the run game right now. I mean, today's a tough one because you're down multiple scores. At some point, you kind of have to abandon the run. But the pass rush on the other side of it, like I can kind of understand from the linebacker and secondary perspective. You didn't have T.J. Edwards basically the first 2 weeks. You don't have Kyler Gordon or Jaylon Johnson first 2 weeks. This pass rush, man, it's garbage. Like, it's got to be much better. And Montez Sweat isn't game-wrecking the way we need him to. Of course, the one sack he gets called back for a penalty. I don't know what happened on that illegal contact. But just to me, it's the trenches right now are the biggest disappointment. Pass rush can't get to the quarterback, and the run blocking doesn't look like they get enough push on that side of the ball either.
That's how you win games. That's how you control the line of scrimmage. It's just not happening. Like, the teams that are good, Detroit, their offensive line, I knew this was going to be a good test for guys like Montez Sweat and Dale. Because last week, Dale played a great game, but he was against a backup. Darashaw wasn't in there. He was matched up at times against Brian O'Neill. But I wanted to see what he was going to do this week. And we kind of saw, like you saw in camp, that spin move where he gets stuck on blockers, not really using the same moves.
It's a half a spin because he's half spins and then it's just his back. He's like laying on the offensive lineman.
And then not only the guys on the edges, but up inside. Where was the push up the middle from those guys? It works together, and we just didn't see enough of that. They're not penetrating. They're not getting off the ball. We could watch the tape. They were slow off the ball all day. You're never going to come home and pass rush if you're slow off the ball. Yeah. It's not going to happen. You're never going to be disruptive in the run game if you come off slow off the ball.
The concept that Poles identified somebody in Dio that was worth paying $16 million to, despite how well he played in week 1, I'm going to leave that one out there for a little more evidence that he got that right. Just real quick, I get what Ben's doing and telling them that we believe in you guys and staying positive. The problem that he's going to run into, and that I think he's going to figure out, the guys in that locker room, I don't think they believe in the people around them. They've lost too much. You can't tell me that each guy at Bear Locker, I believe in you, I believe in you, I believe in you. If you pulled that locker room, and honestly, I don't believe in you. I don't believe in you. That's what you're dealing with. And he's at some point, he's going. Now, he doesn't need to do that publicly. Maybe he never does that publicly. But it's making me think back to like when Lou Piniella got to the Cubs. I see why they lost a lot of games around here. Like, at some point, I'd rather hear that type of thing. I see why we have a culture problem here.
So Carm, you're in the locker room all the time. Who's the leader of the team?
I have no idea.
You don't know.
I have no.
If you had to name somebody that you thought people look to, people respond to.
Everybody got mad at me with the captain thing. They who are the captains? Joe Tooney just got here for 5 seconds. He is not a vocal leader. Grady Jarrett's been here for 3 seconds. He's your leader. Cairo Sanders. They do not have a. I'm looking for a vocal leader. I mean, you tell me. Somebody's got to emerge. And I don't want to be on Caleb, but that's not really his personality. Yeah. So I think it's a problem. The leadership. It's been a problem. They were screaming about it.
Well, I mean, you talked about it, Hoge, after one of the uglier practices at the end of training camp after the preseason games, where I was like, I've been saying this for a year and a half. They got to have somebody that freaks out on everybody every once in a while. Maybe not. That gets tone deaf every once in a while. But you said after during one of the ugly practices, Jonah Jackson was the one to pull the offense to the side and get on them. But like Jonah Jackson, like that's, you know what I mean. And this has been a problem for a year and a half now. You've got a lot of lead by example guys, and now you bring in a guy like Joe Tooney, who also falls under that category. But really what a lot of these guys need in this locker room needs is, like when you say, okay,
Grady Jarrett in his prime.
Right. And that's the thing. So, like, if Ben wants to like, pull the okey doke and say, all right, guys, I got your back here, well, then there needs to be some player throwing it down on the rest of the team, like, all right, get in somebody's face. Like that's
it's unacceptable what happened in Detroit. It's an embarrassment.
Right.
We should be ashamed of ourselves. That kind of thing. But I guarantee none of that is happening in the locker room.
All right, well, let's go to our guy who's always inside the locker room and was inside, I believe, both locker rooms today at Ford Field. Adam Jahns, our Bears in Ford Field. Johnsy, that went exactly like we all thought, right?
Well, it was a tale of two locker rooms today after the game, fellas. One was very happy and proud of what they did, happy to stick it to their old coach, and the other one was rushing to get out of here, not too happy. So, like, I'm on the record saying I would have been surprised by a blowout by the Lions because I thought the Bears would be competitive, and I thought for the most part in the first half they were, and then things just got away from them in the final drive of the second quarter, and then the third quarter just belonged to the Lions. It was an onslaught, and the Bears really had no answer.
Johns, you decided you wanted to go to the Lions locker room after the game. Why were you feeling that way, and what did you learn in there?
Well, I was tired of going into a losing locker room, Adam. It's been a long time. So, I'm kidding. I wanted to hear what the Lions had to say really about Ben Johnson's place in this rivalry now. And they didn't hide the fact that they were more motivated. They wanted to score 50 points. They wanted to stick it to the Bears and their former coach. They wanted to put on a show in a way for Ben Johnson. All his former players did, and they did exactly that. Guys, I don't know about you, but I'm watching this game, and as this is getting away from the Bears, I thought for sure you could almost feel what the Lions wanted to accomplish. They wanted 50 points. They wanted a blowout win. They wanted to stick it to their former offensive coordinator. They wanted to stick it to their divisional rival and make a statement, and they did. And it all happened really in that second half.
Did you find anybody in the Bears locker room, Johnsy, that took umbrage with anything the Lions did as far as putting up the 50 ball? Was there anybody that was?
You know, and if they do feel that way, Carm, well, stop them. It's as simple as that. I'm not surprised that Dan Campbell sent out a starting offense one more time and that fourth and goal. I don't think you were. I think it was pretty clear what they wanted to do. Again, I think they wanted that 50. If they take issue with the Lions hanging 50 on them, then stop them. I think it's as simple as that. That's messaging, just like you guys talked about leadership. If anyone's complaining about that, some leaders got to step in and tell them to shut up because that's not something you should be complaining about after the game, just in terms of what happened on this field out here in Detroit.
So you talked about leadership, Johns, and me and Carman were talking about this earlier. Who do you think is the leader of the locker room when they're looking at a guy to right the ship? Who would you say, being in the locker room, who is that guy?
You know what? That's a great question because I think a lot of those guys are newcomers, which, Corey, I'm not sure how you feel about that. I would like those leaders to be draft picks who have come up through the Bears who understand what it means to be a Bear. Now, you look at Cole Kmet, you look at players like that who have been here. Jaquan Brisker, I think, can be a leader. but the players didn't vote for those guys. You know, it happens sometimes. The older guys in the room always get the votes. I feel like the quarterback always gets those votes, regardless. Like Jay Cutler always got those votes when you knew that locker room belonged to Brian Urlacher and Owen Kreutz. They don't have those dominating personalities that Brian Urlacher and Owen Kreutz were years ago. When I first started covering the Bears, like Brian Urlacher was a presence in that locker room. They don't have that type of presence right now. It's been a long time, really, since they have.
Yeah, it's a problem. it's a problem, honestly, because lead by example only gets you so far. Sometimes you got to lead with, a little more action in there, and I'm not seeing enough of that. So I guess that's where it starts with Ben Johnson. So I'll ask you this, Johns. Who's most likely to lose their starting job this week? Cairo Santos, Darnell Wright, Tyreek Stevenson, Jonah Jackson? Pick one or all of the above.
Well, according to my timeline, I feel like a lot of those players got cut today by the fans, just judging by their reaction. If I had to pick one, it's probably Tyreek Stevenson, because I think that's an easy switch. Maybe Nick McLeod gets more games. I know Jaylon Johnson left this game with a groin injury, so maybe it's not that easy of a switch on second thought. But, yeah, I don't know. They seem to pick on him. Like the Lions seem to go after number 29 a lot. I think they saw that as a very favorable matchup for them, especially after number 1 left the game with his groin injury. So I would say that seems like a spot where maybe a competition could take place. But who? I'm not sure who that is to step up on defense right now.
Especially with Jaylon being out. Did you get any I know there's not really injury updates, but did you get any feeling? I'll just give you my feeling. My feeling on Jaylon Johnson and T.J. Edwards re-aggravating their injuries that's not a good feeling. It just makes it hard for Dennis Allen to try to stop this bleeding with his defense if he's got to go forward without those guys.
Yeah, it's in my experience, it's never a good feeling or a good situation when it's the same injuries being reported. It wasn't like a new ailment popped up. It wasn't like it's a shoulder because Jaylon Johnson made a diving play in the ball. No, it's the groin injury, which kept him out of training camp and which has been problematic for a while. And in my experience, it's never a good thing when a player goes from questionable to out in one game and also leaves for the locker room almost immediately. I think we all saw T.J. Edwards pull up a little bit on that long play by Jamison Williams, but it's not good. Those are two starters that you were hoping to count on throughout the entirety of the season, and they're going to be missing some time again.
Johnsy, which Lion rubbed it in the most? Do we have a winner of that award?
You know what? I didn't so I left Jamison Williams' scrum for a little bit, and then I came back and returned, and I'll read you his answer. So this is Jamison Williams. I wish I had video of it for you guys to share, but I came back a little bit too late. Jamison Williams, quoted, "I think we only scored 50 points once or twice under Ben. This is our OC's second game, and we put up 50. So I don't think there's not really a drop-off without Ben. Shout out to Ben. He's a great coach, a great play caller. But, we made plays, man. To me, we just got to go out there and make plays. I really didn't see a difference or a drop-off with the different coaches from Ben to Johnny Morton. But Johnny Morton went out there and called a great game for us this week, and we scored 50 points. That is Lions receiver Jamison Williams."
Oh, boy.
Can't disagree with it. I mean, he did. I think what's going to end up being the question here that we're going to see over the coming month or so.
They don't play the Bears every week.
How much of that was because they were playing this banged up and possibly not good Bears defense? Last week against the Packers, they couldn't score a touchdown until the final minute of the game. And so that's really going to be the question if you're the Lions going forward.
Maybe Adam, the Packers are darn good, which is another conversation, I guess, for another day.
Well, and if all that is, if what we've seen so far is the truth, then the Bears are probably going to go 0-6 in the division, and the Lions are going to fight it out at the top.
Or maybe they can get a win in January and then talk about how we started the year 1-0.
All right. So Johns, it's like Death Valley around here. And Ben Johnson came to the podium and talked about, still believing in the team. We're 2 weeks into this season, and a lot of fans are ready to punt. Like, do you see anything that could give you any kind of inclination that they can find a way to turn this around sooner rather than later?
Well, I don't think it's Now, if he's really saying that we still believe in this team, that's never a good sign to be hearing it that early in the season. I think that's problematic. That's probably that's a red flag. Now, I don't think it's a red flag for Ben Johnson because I don't think anybody should be giving up on him and his offensive expertise. I think you still saw signs of it taking place in this game. I think the bigger story coming into this one was, or after this one, is what happened on defense. Like, whoa, that was not good. Like, Jared Goff is still standing out there with time to pass, I think. So it wasn't a good defensive pass rush. The receivers obviously had mismatches throughout the secondary. And as Jameson Williams said, Johnny Morton had a good day. So to me, like, I'm still preaching patience with everything that Ben Johnson wants to do, but I don't like hearing already from him that we still believe in this team this early because to me, at least again in my experience, it seems to be like a problematic thing to say at this point, only 2 weeks in.
That's an excellent point. It's way better to hear that at 2-5 than at 0-2. 0-2, it's way too early for we still believe in you. That's like a week 9 thing when it looks like you have to win out to make the playoffs. But that's where we're at. Johnsy, real quick, your thoughts on Caleb today?
I thought he was good in the first half. I thought the best thing that Caleb Williams did, especially early on, was the poise he showed in the pocket. That first touchdown to Odunze, stood in there strong. He had a blitz coming, trusted his protection, and made the relatively easy completion to a wide-open Odunze, streaking across the middle, catch and run, touchdown. Good play. I liked the response early on to tie up the game, as well as the momentum seemed to be in, the Lions' favor. But I just look at that third quarter, guys. I have some of the stats here. When the Lions were putting up points, you had Jared Goff in the third quarter, 4 for 4 for 123 yards and a touchdown. You had the running game producing nine carries for 59 yards. And then you had Caleb Williams in the third quarter going 1 for 6 for 15 yards and 2 sacks. And their run game producing 29 yards and 5 carries. So things got away from Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson and really the entire team in that third quarter.
Well, Johnsy, we will have more on Hoge Johns later. We did fire your travel agent, though, on the pregame show. So sorry about that. And I don't know. Greg said you couldn't come home.
You can't.
So I don't.
Got to get back to the family.
I got a tailgate to go to meet you at next week, correct?
All right. Don't butter me up like that. All right. You can come back.
Well, we will have a Hoge Johns for I think some point tonight. So.
Meet me at Taco Bell tonight.
He'll be there all night.
I'm not coming back that fast.
You don't want to be in that car or that place. He's gonna blow it up.
Taco Bell in Kalamazoo.
I don't want to smell that. I don't want to smell that.
No. Pass.
All right, Johnsy, your coverage will be up at allchgo.com. We'll be reading it. If you're not already a diehard, become one so you can read his great content from all these games, from all these practices. Appreciate you, Johnsy. Safe travels home.
See you, fellas.
There he is, Adam Jahns. And there's that QR code for you, too, if you need to scan it to become a diehard. Also want to thank everybody watching. We have over 5,000 or close to 5,000 people watching. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you're here for the first time. We do Bears shows 5 days a week, pre and post game for games. And we don't care if they're not good. We do it anyway.
I care.
And then when the offseason comes around, we talk about how good the offseason is. And then
we won it again.
And then we just do it again and again and again in a circle. Yeah. So we're here for you.
We're staying positive, though.
And while the highlight of the day is Ryan Poles and some of the lack of moves he's made, meanwhile, the Cowboys just signed Jadeveon Clowney, who could potentially be available for Matt Eberflus next Sunday.
Whatever.
So, I mean, it's not a whatever. They need pass rush help.
He's 98 years old.
I mean, do you think, honestly, the Bears have to make some kind of move or attempt to, for the defensive line, maybe get an edge rusher? Because what we saw today.
Yeah, I saw one on the 49ers today that was available one pick after Colson Loveland.
Yeah.
That would have been nice.
Well, but it made sense, though, to take a tight end and not get somebody who could get to the pass rush because it was just such an odd. I don't know how you could even tell that you needed one of those.
But even in the second or third round.
Let's go take the luxury pick. All right. Just real.
Who's going to cover CeeDee Lamb next week is my question.
Yeah.
I know everybody's excited the Cowboys are coming to town, but I like
I don't
to
really
think
think
about this
anybody's
as
excited about the Cowboys coming to Dallas.
I mean,
X's and O's wise. I'm just thinking, okay, yeah, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson had
fantasy.
9 catches today.
If you're a fantasy owner, Cowboys for everything.
Yeah.
I'm really worried that
Brandon Aubrey had a 64-yard field goal to send the game to overtime. That must be nice to have a kicker that could do that.
Yeah.
Then he hit a 46-yarder in overtime to beat the Giants.
Well, I can tell you this much. If they don't win next Sunday, when we go to Vegas week 4, I'm not coming back.
Oh, let's go Dallas.
Well, based on the travel plans I've seen, you aren't coming back for a while.
I mean,
That's right.
Ever. You saw the amount of points Dallas put up today.
You are not giving up over there.
I mean,
you're leading.
I'm not giving up. I'll give them every opportunity to win next
If they
Sunday.
come out like they did today,
They lose next Sunday, I give
Dak
up.
will put 40+ on them. He'll throw for 400 yards. He'll throw for 4 touchdowns. I'm being serious. If they
I know.
They have the game plan. If they come out and execute the same way, undisciplined, he will carve them up in a blender.
It's just brutal that Jaylon Johnson and T.J. Edwards, fought their way to come back and then couldn't finish the game.
I applauded them last week too on sitting. If he's not healthy, don't play him, because if you have that level of injury, it's very easy to miss a ton of time. And it looks like it's a little unfair, but it just seems like
But what are you supposed to do? He was healthy this week.
They're not healthy. Well, no, he wasn't.
Was though.
The proof's in the pudding. It wouldn't.
It wasn't full practice all week.
He was full practice all week.
I know.
He didn't have an injury designation. You don't just give it another week just to give it another week. You can't punt on this game today. It was a huge game.
I'm not saying punt on the game. I'm not saying. Adam, he was good enough to get out there and practice. I get it, but if his groin was really 100%, if it's the same re-aggravation of the injury, then he wasn't all the way back. He was good enough to practice, but he wasn't good enough to play in a high-intensity game.
During a regular season, you're never going to be 100% from any kind of soft tissue injury. I mean, that's just a fact.
Fair enough.
So I think any of these people that have been dealing with stuff through training camp across the league, they're going to be dealing with that all year. It's just a fact of the NFL, and
I get that
course
he wanted.
of the season.
I get that he wanted to be out there. I get the Bears wanted to be out there. It's just too bad. Let me just talk on one thing before we get too far away from it, and I'll forget about it. The Caleb Ben QB sneak, where if you were paying attention, they had a little interaction on the sidelines, and Ben's saying something to him, and Caleb's saying something back, and then Caleb walks away, and that was a little bit off. And then in the post game, Caleb's talking about, Ben thought I should have probably gone to the right and I should have gone left or whatever. They basically saying he went the wrong way to where the coach wanted him to go. I think there's a little bit more in there than that's actually going on. The play was probably for you to go to the right and you went to the left, or vice versa, whatever it was, and it didn't work. I would think the head coach would be pretty perturbed about that, and you saw the interaction and him walking away from the head coach. That's not what we're looking for in week 2.
From a QB sneak perspective, you look at Philly, you look at Buffalo Bills, bigger quarterbacks that are strong, that work out, that literally can get a yard if you need to.
Yeah.
Does Caleb Williams give you the idea that, hey, he's going to move the pile forward if there's a stalemate? No. So I just didn't understand. You had 2 downs to get 1 yard.
I agree with that too.
Give it to Mununga. You're under center. Let him rip. He talked about getting him more carries. He got it in garbage time when literally the defensive line from Detroit was in the backfield meeting him.
Wasn't Roschon active too today? Isn't that the one thing that he does?
Well, and also, I agree. I would run the ball there. You
Yeah.
saw them in a short yardage situation with DeAndre Swift at the end of the game, walking for a touchdown. But the NFL's giving you this cheat code. They could have banned the tush push. They didn't. I realize not everybody can run it, but you're not even trying.
Yeah.
When you can push them from behind too. So I didn't love that whole sequence.
Northwestern ran the tush push yesterday with some tight end.
And Northwestern is terrible. Like Charles Barkley said, terrible. They are awful.
Yeah. All right. We have to come up with game balls because we're contractually obligated. We will do that here in a second. So we will accept nominations in the chat. Maybe give us some ideas because I think we're all going to be stretching a little bit for this. But before we do that, let's knock out a couple Super Chats here. I do want to get to as many as possible. We can't get to all the Super Chats on the post game. So we call them our Toyota Big Money Super Chats that we give a little bit of priority to. But we do appreciate anybody sending in anything that we realize this is your your hard-earned money. You don't have to do it, so we do appreciate all of them. They all do get on the screen, but we can only read a certain amount of them in the allotted time we have. But David Walsh with 20 pounds sterling here. Last week, the Bears should have won. This week, they hardly turned up. Last week was heartbreaking. This week was embarrassing. Left tackle competition, anyone?
That's an interesting one.
We should bring up the left tackle. I tweeted in the first quarter that Braxton Jones was holding up pretty well on an island. He was. He had a pretty decent start to the game. And then the rest of the game happened. And Darnell Wright wasn't exactly having a great time over there on the right side either.
The right tackle, the left tackle.
He got called for a chop block on one play. There wasn't a chop block.
He just whiffed.
That was him getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, he just whiffed on that. I thought they both started out decent, and then as the game went on, started to crumble, and especially when they could pin their ears back. Aiden Hutchinson. Remember the one play where he jumped over the guy?
Oh, yeah, that was crazy.
I
think he's healthy.
Yeah, last week he didn't look the same. This week, I mean, he looked like he looked like the player he used to be, for sure.
You know when I knew we were in trouble? When they asked Ben Johnson, what are the strengths of this team? It's like, the depth that we have both up front on both sides of the ball. And I'm like, that ain't great. The depth. The Theo Benedette.
Oh, yeah.
We're the maybe we need more.
I didn't even see Theo
Any Canadian
today.
Eagles?
Bring in the Canadian Eagle. The Canadian bald eagle.
Bill O, $20 super chat. Is Montez Sweat on a vacation?
He sacked the quarterback today, almost.
He did. It just got called back for penalty.
But
Tyreek Stevenson.
He got there, though. For a second, we saw him.
Dan with $20 on the super chat here says 4 top 10 picks, 7 second-round picks in 4 years, no Pro Bowlers, and after this year, 0 third-round picks will be on the team. Most teams would fire their GM with that track record. We extended them. And 2 second-rounders traded away for Chase Claypool and Montez Sweat, who you then paid a lot of money to. And I don't think Sweat's a bad player. You're not getting your value out of that, though. Second round and that big contract.
He's just not a number one pass rusher. They need somebody else.
But you paid him like one.
Yeah.
Right? And then you trade away Roquan Smith.
He's like DeMarcus Walker at this point, if that.
It is true.
I remember DeMarcus. Where do you end up, Marcus Walker? I don't even
He's
know.
on DeMarcusWalker.com.
Greg, why don't you-
Does a good
He's
show.
at Taco Bell.
DeMarcusWalker.com.
He's at Taco Bell?
Yeah.
Gordita Crunch Wrap.
Javen
I
Terry.
did not expect to hear Al-Qadim Muhammad's name more prominently today than
I
Montez
didn't know
Sweat.
he was still in the league.
Dude, that was a hell of a rush by him.
And I studied the roster this week.
Al-Qadim Muhammad outplayed Montez Sweat today. That's where we're at.
Javen Terry, $20. I was told everything around Caleb is there. It's all on him to win games. People forget you don't win games on paper. Caleb looked better than last week, and we lose even worse. Yeah. Well, I think honestly why I'm so bummed right now and struggling for optimism is because of the state of the defense. Like I'm already thinking ahead to next week in the Cowboys, and they're not that great a team either. But is Matt Eberflus going to be able to come up with enough solutions to slow down the offense while Dak and CeeDee Lamb go crazy?
What about Tano? Tano had a tackle today. Tano.
You're doing great, buddy.
Thank you.
Kerry Huss, $50.
He had a tackle.
Offense could definitely be better, but the defense sucked. They can't stop anyone. Shocking. The defense is the weak line for this team. I have no words for what I saw today. Pathetic. You know what, Kerry? The good news is we're going to see you in 2 weeks in Vegas, and we'll have a good time regardless.
Do you know that Jonah Jackson had as many tackles today as Dominique Robinson, Jervon Dexter, Ruben Hippolyte, Grady Jarrett, Chris Williams? That's not good. Way to go, Jonah!
Oh, man, that is
All right.
frustrating.
Andrew Fitzpatrick, then we'll go to Game Balls here. Just $50 to say so disappointed. Well said. Well said. We got much more of those supers coming up. We appreciate those coming in. We do have to get to Game Balls.
Devin Duvernay had as many tackles as Big Dex.
Anybody want to take Rome? Who wants Rome? Who wants the easy one? You got
Give me
Rome?
the layup. I want Rome and Odunze, baby.
These are your Game Balls. They are sponsored by RC Cola. RC Cola is not a soft drink. Just damn good cola.
Yeah, I got Rome Odunze. I mean, he played his butt off. Seems like him and Caleb, that connection is there. You just hope that they can get Loveland going, then get DJ Moore going, they can get the running game going, because they do have all the talent out there. If you look at the roster, most people would kill for what the Bears have, and they just can't get it done. Ball security right here, high and tight Braggs. You'll never take it from me. You might as well go to Taco Bell, get your Gordita Crunch Wrap. I don't want none of that. Who's your game ball?
My game ball goes to all you Bears fans.
Oh, I like that.
That's who it goes to. Now, one player on this team's getting it from me. They didn't get one last week either. They may never get one. But you Bears fans deserve the game ball because we have been through this every single year. And I'll tell you what, we forget that we wait 8 months to be this miserable. There will come a point next March where you're like, I can't wait for football season to start. And I want you to remember this moment and these words. You are waiting to be miserable. And we'll do it again and again and again because we are the most loyal fan base, the city of Chicago. Each one of these organizations are lucky to have us meatball morons that show up every single year, buy all this merchandise, watch all the shows, go to the games, and for what? For nothing. And that's where we're at. And one day we'll have a little moment of happiness, and then it'll disappear, and we'll go right back to being miserable because that is what we've lived through. Thank you, Michael Jordan, for being in my life at one point. For those of you that didn't get to see him, I'm sorry. You will never seek that kind of happiness. And there's nothing I can say to you other than we're awful.
Give me the ball.
Hey, we got.
I haven't given my game ball.
I know we're
Your ball?
Yeah,
my ball.
You can go. I was just gonna say we got less than a month to Blackhawk season, Greg. Okay, you can come join me on that train. Nothing bad will happen, I'm sure. We got a new coach.
I've been trying to.
We got a new coach, just like the Bears.
I've been trying to become a hockey guy the last 3 years, and then after like 20 games, I'm like, wait.
I'll go.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'd like to give my game ball to Tyler Warren, who had 2 catches and 55. Wait, that was just in the first half of the Colts game. Okay. I'll give my game ball to David Montgomery. Oh wait, he's on the Lions now. I thought Case Keenum had his helmet on the sideline. He was ready to go. I thought his contributions on the sideline were really good.
Listening to the calls.
Yeah. Special teams, you are better.
Luther Burden, right? Having a couple good returns. Why not put him on punt return?
I don't know, because they don't listen to me.
Need to listen.
I've been saying this for weeks.
He's a playmaker. You got to give him the ball in his hands.
And definitely not a game ball to me, who picked the Bears to win this game. Here's the guy who picked the Lions on this panel.
Boo.
But I bet the Bears, and so I lost money on this. What a complete.
Should have done it the other way.
What a complete moron I am. Don't worry, Chad. You don't have to tell me this one. I will tell myself because I lost money again. What was that moronic bet that I made too? I had 15 yards apiece catching the football for DeAndre Swift, Cole Kmet, and Colston Loveland. What an idiot I was. So no game balls for me. I will give a slightly serious game ball, though. Jaquan Brisker, you led the Bears in tackles today with 9. You threw yourself in harm's way with a massive shoulder hit protecting yourself. You've been concussed. You've been up. You've been down. You had a really rough year, and you are out there busting your ass. So for a guy, the king of the energy, who comes every practice screaming, and one of the guys in that locker room that absolutely deserves to be a part of a winning team, Brisker, you led the Bears in tackles today. You threw your body around, so this game ball's for you.
And all the secondary, he probably played the best at everyone today.
Yeah. Since Rome Odunze was our obvious game ball winner, presented by RC Cola, should we hear from Rome after the game? He did talk.
Sure, do it.
I know we got some of this, and then we'll get to your super chats before we get out of here. Brick by Brick after show coming up after us. Hogan Johns later, but here is Rome Odunze in that locker room in Detroit.
I mean, it don't really feel good, you know what I mean? The thing maybe you look at after the season, you don't recognize it, But in the moment, man, it sucks, man. I mean, we want to win games, at the end of the day. That's why we play this game. And to go down 0-2, definitely isn't a good start for us. So just want to get back on track.
What's the most immediate thing, the thing on your mind the most that you want to fix for next game?
Oh man, for me, I think about just the physicality of it. You know, I feel like I wasn't blocked with a high violence level, high physicality level for myself personally. I feel like maybe that I felt that kind of as a team as a whole as we played. You know, I feel like we weren't violent enough, especially for this NFC opponent that we know is plays that brand of football. So those are things I think we got to fix and just have our swagger, have our confidence going out there and play this game.
How does this whole team get that done?
I think it just comes from the preparation, honestly. Just understanding that it's going to take all of us to win these football games. It can't just be, this person doing well or that person doing well or this phase playing well, that one not playing well. Like, it's going to take 3 phases for 4 quarters to win these football games. So we just have to go out there and do that. I think we have the men in this organization, the men in that building to get the job done. But, it takes any Sunday, we got to give our best. So.
It's been 2 weeks now coming out of halftime where you guys are 3-9. What do you think needs to change about going into that third quarter to capitalize on getting the kickoff?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly how both of those drives. Obviously, I know the result, but I don't know what happened in between. But I'd have to go look at a specific reason. But I think it's just an urgency, understanding that we got to come out of half and put points up on the board. Whether that's 3 or obviously we want to score a touchdown. But just having that momentum to put points on the board, I think is huge for our team as a whole. Having that energy and keeping that sort of mindset to have a great second half. But we got to be better than this. Sure.
Last one here, Pat.
What's that?
What does this do for morale?
Oh, we gonna show this off. You know what I'm saying? We gonna show this off. Being honest, we got a hell of a team, and we gonna play ball for 15 more games.
All right, this is Odunze, who had 7 catches, 128 yards, and 2 touchdowns on Corey Wootton's fantasy football bench today.
Yes, I don't know what happened.
32.8 fantasy points.
Oh, just rub it in now.
Which accounts for a third of my entire team. So my team sucks there too. Great. All right. Let's get to more of your super chats before we get out of here.
Don't forget Brick by Brick coming up. He'll be here all night. Taco Bell.
Yeah, seriously, everybody tune into the Brick by Brick after show. Lance Briggs, Jerry Azumah will be here to answer all your questions and try to start to turn the page.
Meatball takes on there.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay.
They only serve up meatballs.
Of course.
Bill
and bricks.
Bricks. Meatballs and bricks.
Yeah. Wish somebody would hit me over the head with a brick.
Oh, I could do that after this.
There's a line. I mean, Bill $100. No pass rush. No run defense. Bad. Soft. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate your support.
You're the man, Bill.
Jordan Brody, $50 super chat. Got to get Manangai in there. What does John's call him? Manangai. Manangai.
Chicago accent.
Clean up the penalties and someone get the defense out of bed earlier. Bear down.
Okay. I would like to raise my hand and say it would have been sweet if they had drafted a running back a little bit earlier to complement the Manangai.
Swift had a pretty decent day. Just the fumble was a killer, obviously. But he did average over 5 yards per carry.
He was a better Swift. That's fair, I suppose.
Only 12 carries, though. Ginger Snap, $20. It's hard to be patient with this team. I'm not giving up and holding on that it'll get better. But, damn, it's tough.
All we can do.
See
how they look next week.
It's just one thing to lose, but it would have been another if, they lost a tight game and they showed you signs of
They're
hope.
both demoralizing.
Yes.
People say that, but last Monday was brutal. This is brutal. They're all brutal.
Gary Lavario, $100. Haven't even seen the game yet because of issues, but now I'm wondering if I should.
You should not.
Yeah, you should definitely
Don't do it.
Don't, Gary.
Let's look at the box score.
Just watch the first drive for the offense.
Gary, you know what you should do? Go back and watch the Bears beat the Packers last January. Relive the Cairo kick.
Yeah.
And go to sleep peacefully. That's what you should do. They're one win in their last
interception.
Yeah, Craig said you definitely should not, Gary. On the positive side, the Bears have 2 touchdowns on 2 opening drives of the game.
Correct.
After not doing that at all last year.
Correct.
So it is accurate that they've won 1 game in their last 13 games. That's correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oof.
Is that bad?
Oof. They changed up their schedule here too, Hoge. for next week.
Oh, as I've been predicting?
Yeah.
Is that what I thought?
What did you think?
That they would move locker room back?
They sure did.
Yeah.
Locker room has been moved back.
I gave that what? I said 2 weeks. When we had a meeting like a month ago. I was like, that's going to last 2 weeks.
Yeah. Locker room is now 3 o'clock, 2:30.
Great.
It's good for us.
Is it?
Probably not. We'll figure it out.
All right, we can have a meeting about that. We don't have to do that here on the show. Goat, Mark OTA, $20. Who's got the Pope Leo avatar? Today was Pope Leo's 70th birthday, and the Bears let him down. How do you do that to the Pope? Boys, I didn't read the super. Sorry. Can you just scroll up? He said, boys, there are 15 games left. I'm hopeful still. Bear down.
That's why you're the goat.
It's true. The goat.
We need more goats around here.
We do. Bill O, $50. Oxymorons for 2 names. Sweat, not one QB is sweating. And Swift, he is not fast enough to run past his own blockers.
Bill, you deserve better, Bill.
Bill also had $20, said Rome had a lot of drops. DJ Moore is ignored. Sweat is not a A-class rusher. Swift is C+, Class A runner. So he spent $70 to say the same thing.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Bill, we'll talk to the organization for you and see what we can do. We know you're trying.
We're trying to. What else we got? More from Bill? More from Bill, $20. Who pressures the quarterback? They're eating meals and throwing TDs against us. Bill's going through it right now.
Bill, but Bill is going through, but Bill is not wrong.
Yeah.
Nobody pressures the quarterback, Bill.
Well, and he also gave us $10 to say game balls, give it to the people who gave Gatorade to the players. They had the most toughness.
That was Braggs in high school.
What about the Lions fan in the stands who got crushed by Jared Goff and whoever was that Amon-Ra, the 10-year-old girl, 13-year-old girl, 8-year-old girl, however old.
Well, look, and I just to put the Bill also said $5. I love the show. We love you, Bill. Oh, thank you very much. But to go on the Lions celebrations, they did the stumble bum one to kind of rub that in on the Bears. Amon-Ra totally got me on the hamstring injury. Woot and I were both like, oh no. And he's fine. He was just faking everybody out. Good job by him. Yep. And then Amon-Ra was the one who jumped in the stands too with those 2 little kids. And then Jared Goff completely ruined everything. Because that was the most unathletic, unimpressive jump into the stands.
Yeah. I mean, they really wanted to kick the Bears' butt today, and specifically Ben Johnson.
It was a statement to show we don't need you, Ben Johnson. You can go to Chicago. We don't need you. We're doing just fine.
Y'all, big chips on your shoulder.
Well, maybe
the Bears.
Maybe 3 years from now, the Bears will be playing the Miami Dolphins, and Declan Doyle will be the head coach down there, and all these Bears players will be like, we don't need you.
Well, they actually
they put up 50 on the Dolphins in a win.
They actually have the same situation next week. Y'all couldn't stand Matt Eberflus. Y'all wanted him out the door. Well, he's coming over here. He's not the head coach, but he's the DC. If we need a little extra motivation, maybe pay attention. It wouldn't be bad if I don't know. How about if they had a celebration and then everybody ran and covered the sidelines? That would be sweet. Or or
the Bears scored a touchdown next week and everybody just calls a timeout.
Yeah. He starts ran over a little timeout, or started. I don't know, like pull up. Let's go. Who was the guy that had the cell phone in his back pocket? Somebody pull out some honey out of their back pocket. Start having some.
You talking about Joe Horn?
Yeah.
Beekeeper?
The beekeeper. Why can't you put the beekeeper hat on?
Yeah, have something behind the back of the end zone.
Jar of honey.
Jar of honey back there.
Yeah.
Just pour honey.
We're on to something here. But you have to score touchdowns to do that.
Honestly, Russell Wilson might have broke the Giants single-game record today for passing yards. I mean, it threw for almost 500 yards.
Okay.
He's torching him. So maybe there's a chance.
Maybe we'll have a shootout next week.
Maybe. We need something better than we've seen today.
We need something. At least Micah Parsons isn't on that field. We get to see him twice later in the year instead.
December, too.
Modern music, Michael. Caleb needs to put Up 50 on the Flus. That's right. Do we have more Super Chats we need to get in? I know, I'm just talking about the big ones because I'm about to end the show otherwise.
Let's get J. Lou in there. What about J. Lou? What about Carm's yawn?
Carm's yawn is a good one. $10 says, I'm not yawning, I'm screaming. 4 seasons in, and this front office is not remotely close to fielding a competitive team. We all owe Tyler Dunn an apology. His piece seems dead on regarding Ryan Poles.
Well, if we're going to apologize to him, then maybe somebody could apologize to us. just saying. I'm just saying. We should have gone it done harder, damn it.
I know that's a sensitive subject to some, but
it is. It is.
It doesn't mean that there's not some valid warning signs in that piece. Joseph San Giovanni, 10 Swiss francs. I was promised a run game and a DA man, aggressive D.
You were, Joseph. You were promised that. Yeah. It's a long season, Joseph. But right now, I mean, we are paying for the full Monty and not even getting a kiss on the cheek.
No
That's
aggressive
what we're
D,
at right now.
I'm feeling for Bill right now. $20 from Bill. We are Chicago and are playing like we are from a Caribbean island touch football league.
We showed up at the wrong parlor. Yeah. That's what's going on.
NFL flag league.
Posillo, I don't know. $20. Pochilo. Do you know that?
No.
We lost Greg.
But I did eat at a Taco Bell once.
We lost Greg midway through the first
actually,
quarter.
I want to tell that story in a second. Let's get to Super, and then I want to evaluate the last 2 weeks in Greg land.
And J. Lou. I want J. Lou in here.
Yeah, $20, 52 to 22 is not 21, by the way, is not a score. That's a cry for help. Poles is out here building a roster like it's Madden Sim on rookie. Warren, love the suits, but this isn't the Big Ten anymore. Everyone always makes fun of me for losing. Tired.
Remember last year when they were on Hard Knocks and one of the last things was everybody wants to be on this team. This roster is so amazing. People just realize how hard it was to have cut downs. Remember that one?
Yeah, I do.
That was good.
Remember we're going to take the North and never give it back?
I was watching that today. It popped up on my Twitter, and he read that off a sheet. Like it was in front. And we're going to take the North and never give it back. And then he moves the sheet up.
Well, maybe he means the AFC North. They got 4 games against the AFC North. Joe Burrow got hurt today. The Steelers lost.
Yep.
Maybe the Browns are terrible.
Yeah. I mean, it's just an 0-2 start in the NFC North. It's not. Season's not over.
I didn't mention the Ravens. They're not going to beat the Ravens. There's no chance. All right. So last week, our guy Greg Braggs, we love him dearly. He was on a high of all highs. He was in that game. He was. Can we ISO Greg right now? He's got a great look on his face. He could not shut up the entire game. He was in the game. He had a comment for everything as I almost dropped the ball, like the Bears wide receivers.
He ran around here after the pick six, like we had won the Super Bowl.
It was awesome. And then today we lost him midway through the first quarter.
He was out there the whole game.
If you watched our halftime in the lounge, he wasn't in there.
No,
he wasn't in there today. He was on the balcony. And
do we have video?
This is how he was all last year. Literally, we watched the game, and then after the first quarter, he'd be out there on the patio, done.
Yeah,
done with the world.
Sorry, Greg.
I mean,
I'm sorry too.
He was smoking a cigar. I walked out there at halftime.
I sat with him for a little bit.
I didn't.
Do you think we could get some of those videos like a couple years ago when we used to be in your car and just laying it on the line? Live video, streaming.
You used to do spaces at halftime. You would talk to your people. What happened to that?
Spaces are a dangerous place now. I can't go in there all the time now.
Yeah, but they are. Look at him.
There he is.
Thinking about Taco Bell.
Patio of sadness.
That's game 1.5, team.
At least it was a nice day.
At least last year it was like week 10 before he got out there. Week 2 already.
Yeah, I'm dead inside.
Things are gonna get easy.
Well, we have another post game, brick by brick after show coming up. And if you, everyone in the chat, still hanging out here, if you don't come into the show, I will personally fight every single one of you.
I don't think you can say that.
Yeah, I will. And I'll start with you, Chuckle Fee.
Patty Own.
That was actually a good line by him, calling it the Patty Ono.
Patty Ono.
You were on the Patty Ono.
You are the Patty Ono. That's amazing, Chuckle Fee.
I love it. Chuckle Fee.
Chuck Fee. 2-3.
No, but Chuckle Fee's better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well done.
Bill
Chuckle
O's
Fee.
going to come join you and drop another $100
Michael
on
Maddle. Sorry, Braggs. Dinner time. Homemade pizza. Shove that pizza down your gullet and watch the after show.
Speaking of pizza, shout out
Salerno's.
That
was fire.
Great pizza. I don't think I'd ever had the chicken tenders. Those were yummy. And the sauce.
Chicken tendies? They were fire, man.
Yeah. Pizza was good. Salerno's came through today. We needed it badly. That was our comfort food.
Yeah.
We're out of here. We got a lot more coming up, as we always do. Win or lose, brick by brick. After show coming up next. Lance Briggs, Jerry Azumah, Greg Braggs. Greg, your voice is in tip-top shape. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you. Good. Hey, game ball to you for the voice.
Sad Braggs
There
is
you
the
go.
best Braggs. He doesn't speak.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Hoge and Jahns, we instead of being live tomorrow morning, we're going to be live-ish tonight. I gotta check with his secretary.
Ball security over here.
We're waiting on that. And then we'll be back tomorrow right here, CHGO Bears.
We get it. There'll be a bunch of shows all week. End the show.
1 o'clock?
Brick by brick,
1
baby.
o'clock tomorrow, too. We'll be back.
1. We're number 1.
Tune in to Brick by Brick right now. Talk to you there. Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.